What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I've got another new card to show you. It is coming out in Wave 4 of the Transformers trading card game, War for Cybertron Siege 2, and the lovely folks over at Transformers TCG Towers, cheers by the way, have decided that I should be the one to show it to you. And I am delighted to do so. It is a secret action called Even the Score, and the first two things we need to note about it right off the bat: double orange icon and a star. Now what's very cool here, this is not the first double orange icon star card I've shown you. Back in Wave 2, one of the very first reveals I did was Mounted Missiles, which has a double orange icon and a star. So the question is, can that be better than that one? Now, in terms of the double orange icon, back in Wave 1 we had a couple of options, and they were the only non-star options we got. Now, Peace Through Tyranny, phenomenal card. You may KO one of your characters with 6 stars or more and then take an extra turn. That's sometimes played for the effect, not just the double orange icon, which is very cool. And then the other double orange icon, not quite as cool. Improvised Shield, it gives you tough 1, but you're generally playing the double orange icon in a more aggressive deck, so it's cool and all, but you're generally playing it for the double orange. And if you're playing a super aggressive orange deck, you're probably going to start off with 3 Peace Through Tyranny, 3 Improvised Shield, and then you can move on to looking at double orange star cards, of which this will be one. And we do then need to consider a bunch of things. Is it good enough as a double orange card? Is it good enough to use one of the stars? You only got 25 to make your team. And is it good enough for the effect? Although frustratingly, right, I was getting ready to do this reveal, saying how it's the first double icon secret action and the first star card secret action. And then Wreck and Rule went and revealed a really nice card yesterday. They went and showed us Heroic Resolve, which is a star card secret action with a double blue icon, so very much the counterpart of our reveal today. But what does Even the Score actually do? Well, the reveal trigger is when one of your Decepticons takes more than enough attack damage to be KO'd, and when it's revealed you do the extra attack damage to the attacker, then put this card in your KO area. Again, it's not even the first to do that because Heroic Resolve also went to the KO area. Boo! Etc. This is a phenomenal card. Like an out-and-out phenomenal card. In the right circumstance. You see, if you're not playing a Decepticon deck, you can still play this. By which I mean put it in your deck, but you cannot play this, by which I mean it's not ever going to actually do anything. Now, you can put it face down as a secret action, but if you haven't got a Decepticon, the reveal trigger's never going to happen. So you've still got the double orange icon, but you could play Mounted Missiles. Or incidentally, the other one is full loadout, which allows you to play a weapon and armor and a utility onto a character. So if you're not playing a Decepticon deck, you'll never play Even the Score. Similarly, if you're not against a really aggressive deck, it's not going to be quite so good. I think it's still fine. Let's say your opponent does 8 damage when they need to do 7. Let's say you've got an Insecticon Scrapnel in alt mode. It's not going to happen very often, but just as an example. Well then, there's 1 damage left over. So you're doing 1 damage. It's basically like a zap. Except instead of having a free choice as to where to put the damage like you would with Zap, it has got to go on the attacker. But there are plenty of decks out there that are aiming to do a whole lot more. I mean, it's never proven to be one of the best decks in the format, and that makes me sad because I adore it. We can look at something like Dinobots. Well, Grimlock gives you Bold 3. Then you've got Jaws of Steel, which gives you Bold 2, but that's a utility, so you can also use Flamethrower, which gives you Bold 2. And let's not forget Dino Chomp, the action card that gives you Bold 5, and all of a sudden you're on Bold 12. And you're going to be playing all the double icon cards, so you're often going to get a bit of overkill. Now, what is going to be very interesting is the ruling between Grimlock and Even the Score here. I believe you would be able to use even the score, but we will have to wait to get a bit of a confirmation. But one deck that is seeing a lot more play is Decepticons. And Decepticons tend to go hard into orange icons. Their goal is to get as much damage going as possible, and they use all the double orange cards, etc. Here's the thing though. They also tend to not have very high health. So if we take something like Kickback, for instance, 9 health. Scrapnel, 7 health. And alright, Scrapnel in bot mode can only take 3 attack damage. This isn't attack damage. In the same way that the extra damage when we look at Grimlock is non-attack damage, so will this be. So you get the full benefit of any extra damage that you would be doing. So against Decepticons, this could be brilliant. You get to keep doing a bunch of extra damage. Now, there is one potential backfire here, and that is that Ransack actually does damage equal to the number of damage counters on him. So there is a possibility here that Ransack is able to attack, get a bit of damage but not be KO'd, and then boost his own attack. But bearing in mind this happens when you are attacked, i.e. during your opponent's turn, so you'll then get a turn to try and finish off Ransack. So I'm sure you'll be okay with that. Similarly, something like Metroplex. Metroplex tends to go as bold as it can possibly get away with. And basically everything about Metroplex is about bold. Height advantage gives you bold 4, well that's pretty gosh darn good. And if we look at a bunch of the skills from all of his little minions, Slammer gives Metroplex bold 1, Scamper City Patrol gives Metroplex bold 1, and 6-gun heavy weapons expert gives Metroplex bold 2 when you flip to bot mode. It's built to be bold. And at the end of the game, this can absolutely turn the tide of the game. This can be the difference between a win and a loss. If you play this down and your opponent attacks a character with very little health remaining, you could end up getting a free KO just by playing this. And that could be the difference between winning and losing. If your opponent does 10 damage to a character that only has 1 health remaining, they have to take 9 damage onto the attacker, and if that gets a KO, that's going to win you the game, or at least, in a lot of situations, that's going to win you the game. Or maybe it's going to make your opponent go, you know what? I think you've just played an even the score. So I'm not going to play height advantage. I'm not going to play Dino Chomp. I'm going to try and restrict the amount of bold I've gotten. Well, that can backfire. What if your opponent is so scared of even the score that they try and manipulate it so they just get a KO, but they miscalculate and don't get a KO? That's what is so good about even the score. Though again, you can use this against anyone you like, but this is only for Decepticon decks. So maybe you can find a bit of room to get this into Insecticons for the mirror match. The thing you've got to watch is in a mixed deck, if you've got both Autobots and Decepticons, if you play this down and your opponent essentially calls you on it, they can attack one of your Autobots instead, and that's going to go very, very badly. But make no mistake about it, as far as I am concerned, this is one of the best tricks that Decepticons have had so far. I think this is an over-the-top phenomenal card. But it really does seem to pigeonhole down into aggressive deck, Decepticon beating other aggressive decks. Because a double orange icon, I mean, you don't have to put it into an aggressive deck, but you really do get the most benefit from it if you do. And the problem is there are still going to be games where your opponent is just not playing that aggressively. Where your opponent is playing a bit more blue and they are getting just either exact KOs or 1 or 2 more. Or what's even worse is if your opponent softens you up and then KOs you using something like a marksmanship so that even the score doesn't work and then they go after someone else. There are downsides to this. It's not always going to work. This is a niche card. It is great in an aggressive Decepticon deck when you're playing against an aggressive deck, especially one with lots of bold that does a lot of overkilling. Outside of that, you've still got the double orange icon, but it's a star card. And mounted missiles gives you +2 attack, but can go in your armor or utility slot, and then you're getting +2 attack without using your weapon slot. Full loadout allows you to attach 3 extra upgrades in addition to your regular upgrade. I don't think I can recommend this just for the double orange icon, because we've got other double orange icon cards that will help you out in a greater number of matchups. But for what it is, and for what it does, I think even the score is absolutely brilliant. I think people who play this are going to get cheeky wins when their opponent overkills only to see an even the score pop up, and then they have to get KO'd as well. Or they don't get a KO because they're so worried about even the score, and that gives you the extra turn you need to win. People have talked a lot about Autobots having better tricks than Decepticons. Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is starting to even the score. Thank you again to the lovely folks at Transformers TCG Towers for allowing me to do the review. Though during this video I have realised I didn't get to reveal full loadout. It's the one double orange star card I missed. So that makes me a little bit sad. But I do jest, I am absolutely delighted. They are wonderful people. I am humbled. I love it. I hope I get the chance to do it again. Maybe Friday? Just saying, you might want to check back. For now, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we can talk about Transformers or any other games that take our fancy. And do please make sure you're checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can get bonus pods and support the channel. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.